Monster Hunter World was an international success, bringing in brand new hunters such as myself, and with Monster Hunter Rise's release, it's brought these new world hunters to a more traditional, natural Monster Hunter game progression. But this isn't a look in how Monster Hunter World and Rise brought in so many new players, this is my New World's mindset, first impressions of the old world Monster Hunter game, Generations Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Quick PSA, I'll be mentioning a lot about Old World and New World players. For those not aware, New World players are those who started Monster Hunter World or Rise, and Old World players are those who played many years before World's release. Let's get the obvious stuff out the way. The graphics look like a PS2 game, there's loading between zones, and inventory space is much more limited with the need to bring your own pickaxes and bug nets. Despite this, the game knows its hardware limitations since originally being released on the 3DS, with the art direction just being absolutely outstanding. The multiple village areas are each beautiful, as they are villages from previous games, and while I can't get the nostalgia behind them, I can definitely feel something important behind each of these villages. Burner is home for me, and as it's the starting village, and I get to pet the cute moofas. All the weapon types I used in the New World are here. I main Charge Blade, by the way. Apparently I'm of a rare breed according to other hunters. But something that was incredibly different that's unique to Generations is hunter styles and arts. I didn't delve too deep into these, but what I got was good was the base style, which is an all-rounder, adept style, which is that feeling you get when you fall back in a chair and your life flashes before your eyes, but then you hit block and then you do a super massive counterattack against any monster that hits you. Valor is building up your Super Saiyan bar to go unga bunga, aerials for those with an addiction for mounting, that may or may not be me. Alchemy is something with potions. I didn't look into this one, all I see people shaking barrels like they want to pop open a completely shook can of cola on the monster's face. The last style I didn't mention was Striker, which allows you to have 3 hunter arts. I never really looked into many hunter arts, that's because area style only allows 1 hunter art equipped and I love mounting too much. But from what I've read, they allow you to do super powerful attacks, perform super quick dodges, or in Alchemy's case, shake that pancake batter bottle. Generally, gameplay wise, there is so much that hadn't been implemented at the time. There is no radial menu for your items, so remembering the order of your items you place within your pouch is a real biggie. There's no drinking consumables while running, and you have to flex their muscles every time you drink them as well. Movement feels more stiff and slow than it does in World and Rise, but moves really feel like they pack a punch. The biggest thing that jumped out for me was the fact that zones were separate areas now with loading screens between. The loading times don't take too long, but it really helps with not having to fight monsters in corridors or play chasey, as nearly every zone is a big enough battlefield. If monsters got you down, just pop to the zone over, drink a potion, flex, then come right back in. It's a bit jarring coming from a specialty world, but once getting the hang of the speed of things, the weight and power of the combat will make you feel mega strong and give you that big brain when taking advantage of the zone separation. Story and quest progression is a bit of a mystery at times, as the game doesn't outright tell you what monsters to hunt to advance to the next rank, and the only thing to go by is Billy Bob Joe in Oriental Japantown said, "What a twist! People on land suddenly sulk to the bone. The soggy victims insist they saw something yellow before their drenching. What could it have been? Hunter, please help me solve this riddle." Giving you the hint to hunt Royal Ludroths, which is great and all, but they don't repeat or flag that quest within the list at all. Admittedly, this gives a great opportunity to fight whatever you think is the coolest monster, as opposed to defeat only that is necessary. The only rank that really gave me grief were the 5-star village quests. There's 4 separate quest chains each, with roughly 4 quests in each that are once again not flagged, and the final one in the quest chain is the key quest to advance to 6-star. In hindsight, it let me appreciate the other villages more, as opposed to just Burner. Anyway, this is Monster Hunter, so let's talk about monsters. What an absolutely amazing roster there is of monsters. I've only just finished the village quest up to Valstrax, and I quite honestly did not do a lot of side quests, despite the fact that they contain a whole bunch of other monsters which I'm both familiar with and also are new to me. I hated Basirios in Rise, and gosh darn Rockhead is in Generations 2. He's a bit more of a pain in the butt, however you can break his belly and go to town on that. I was completely unaware of an even worse monster, which is Gravios, and he happens to be an adult Basirios. I didn't even know Basirios was considered a child. It's not only just a pain in the ass monsters that are here though. I have a brand new favourite monster, Astalos. Not only is the music theme from Metal AF, but his design is stupidly awesome too. He's a typical dragon looking wyvern, but he's a giant bug, and has a cool bug wing aesthetic going on about him with his own wings. And they also act as bug zappers. I just love him so much. He's so much fun to fight. going into high rank, I got way too comfortable constantly jumping and mounting monsters, and oh boy, they punished me hard for doing that without reading monster telegraphs. This game really wants you to read monster movement before going unga bunga on them. There is usually a pretty safe moment to smack the monster between their attacks, and while the same is true in the New World games, there typically isn't any opportunity to attack the monsters if you get hit by them. World and Rise games really empower the player to just go ham on the monster. Damage be damned. The Generations really tries to instill that you just wait for an opening. I've never blocked so many attacks since coming to Generations. Maybe I should give Adept Hunter style a try. Another thing coming from Rise, I thought having two monsters in the same zone would actually benefit you because they would deal damage to each other. I was dead wrong. They'll both dogpile on you without damaging each other, and I've learned very quick to bring in the poop as soon as one invades the same area as the one you're currently tracking your targeting. I nearly forgot, which is ironic and you'll see why, but there is no real way to track monsters before seeing them first, and even after seeing them, they won't stay on the minimap. If you need to track and follow a monster, you need to slap some paint in that bad boy's face in order for them to show up on the minimap. I cannot stress enough how often I forgot to paintball monsters and completely lost sight of them after they left the area. Where are my paintballs? Where are my paintballs? Now where the fuck is he gone? Has he fucking left again? What's this cross here? Oh, it's a... He put down a trap! And he's freaking left again. Small monsters actually do something in this game, and they annoy the absolute pants off you. The amount of times I tried carving at the end of a quest nearly didn't get all the carves because the smaller monster just kept knocking me over. I'm looking at you, Conchus, you can roll yourself off a cliff. It really gives that sense of danger, as opposed to how you can literally run through like you're picking herbs from a field of flowers and world. Speaking of, you really need to manage your inventory. There's no separate pouch for all your carves, and in addition to that, as mentioned at the beginning, you need to bring your own gathering tools such as bug nets and pickaxes. If you don't bring them, you can't gather. The game gives a whole bunch of mega varieties of these as part of the free DLC, similar to the hunter packs you receive in other games. Because the game has been out for so long, there are so many that have multiple stacks of them and actually hit the money cap before I even hunted my own first monster. Weapons and armor look so much cooler in this game. I don't know if it's that everything looks too detailed on the smaller screen for World and Rise, but the armor and weapons look very distinct in Generations and there is so many to choose from. Skills are more stretched out in the sense that, as opposed to giving +1 attack in the armor piece, giving you that 1 attack skill, instead now it's every 10 points gives you that +1 attack skill. And it works in reverse now as well, as there are negative skills. One really cool thing someone told me is that if you have negative 10 points in diversion, as opposed to that monster focusing you more, it works the opposite, where they're less likely to attack you. That is really cool. By the end of the village story of defeating Valstrax, this game still really holds up. I know a lot of what I said comes off as a negative thing, but I assure you, it's not. The heavy mechanics don't come off as a hindrance, but act as a challenge, and it really just plays differently. It's super clear to read monsters now. In order to progress, you need to learn and read the monsters and dodge or attack at the right time, taking into account the heavy but satisfying gameplay. This game was a celebration for the anniversary of Monster Hunter, and it really shows. The final ending dance scene just really tops it off. I highly recommend any Monster Hunter player go back and play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, especially since there won't be any new title updates for a while in Rise. There are so many monsters that you won't find in World or Rise, super cool armor to go with them, and such an extensive quest system, and I haven't even scratched the surface of it. If anyone wishes to share their tips for New World Hunters, post them in the comments below. There's so much unexplored in this game, and I've just unlocked G-Rank, and if you want to join me for the ride, I'll be streaming this on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday night. Once I've done all I can and experimented more, I'll post an update video on the G-Rank and Endgame experience, so be sure to subscribe so you won't miss it. Thanks to those who helped me get this far, and I'll see you all in the Hunters Pub.